Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to be language detectives. We're going to dive into how we talk about the past when we don't really know all the facts, how we make those educated guesses and sound confident doing it. Let's jump in. So it all starts with a simple, everyday mystery. Something like this. Why wasn't Mary in class yesterday? We don't know for sure, do we? But our brain immediately starts trying to figure it out, trying to find the most logical reason. We have to make a guess, a deduction. And the special tools we use for this? Well, they're called past modals of certainty. Seriously, think of these as your detective's toolkit for language. They're what let you say exactly how sure you are about something that's already happened. To keep all these linguistic tools organized, I want you to picture something with me, a certainty ladder. This is going to help us see all our options, climbing from something that's 100% a fact all the way down to when you're just, floating a possibility out there. And here it is. This chart is basically our roadmap for this whole explainer, showing every single rung on that ladder. You'll notice there are different words for affirmative statements, that's for things you think did happen, and different ones for negative statements, for things you think didn't happen. This is going to be our guide for the whole investigation. All right, let's start climbing. First up, the affirmative side of the ladder. This is what we use when we're guessing that something was actually true. And yep, we're going right back to our first case, the mystery of where Mary was. We're going to start near the very top, okay? At 95% certainty. Now, this isn't a 100% known fact, but it's pretty darn close. It's what we call a strong logical conclusion that's based on some kind of evidence. So you'd say something like, she must have been sick. The key here is you're not just guessing wildly. You use must have because you have a good reason. For instance, maybe you remember Mary complaining about a sore throat the day before. Based on that clue, your most logical conclusion is, she must have been sick. But what happens when you have zero evidence? Absolutely nothing to go on. Well, we step down the ladder to 50% certainty, or even less. At this point, we're not drawing a conclusion. We're just mentioning a possibility. If we say she may have been sick, or might have been sick, or could have been sick, we're basically saying the same thing. All three of these mean it's just a guess. Maybe she was sick, maybe she overslept, who knows? We're just tossing one idea out into the universe. Okay, you with me? Let's pivot and look at the other side of this investigation. Now we're making deductions about why something didn't happen. And for this, we have a brand new case file. Why didn't Sam eat? For negative deductions, the ladder starts incredibly high, at 99% certainty. This one is reserved for when you believe something was just completely and utterly impossible. If you say Sam couldn't have been hungry, you're expressing an extremely strong belief. Why? Well, maybe you know for a fact that Sam ate a gigantic lunch just an hour earlier. In your mind, it is impossible that he was hungry again so soon. Now let's take just one small step down that ladder to 95%. This is for our negative logical conclusion. It's really strong, but it's not quite at that level of total impossibility. So when we say Sam must not have been hungry, we're concluding that it's the most logical reason he didn't eat. We don't have enough proof to say it was impossible, but it is the best deduction we can come up with. And this is such a great way to see the subtle but really important difference. Couldn't have is for when you think there is a 0% chance something was true. Must not have is your strongest, most logical guess, but it leaves that tiny, tiny sliver of doubt. Finally, let's head to the bottom of the negative ladder. You probably know the drill by now, right? This is for when we're just kind of guessing about a possibility without any real evidence to back it up. So if we say Sam may not have been hungry, or he might not have been hungry, we're just offering up an idea. These two phrases mean the exact same thing. It's just a possibility we're putting out there for consideration. Okay, the theory is one thing, but now it is time for some practice. Let's take everything we've learned from our certainty ladder and apply it to a brand new case. It's time to put your detective skills to the test. Here's the situation. I want you to imagine this. The doorbell rings, but you're all cozy in bed, and you just ignore it. But later, you start to wonder, who was that? You're about to become the detective. So, I want you to really think about this for a second. Using our new toolkit of past modals, how would you start to piece this mystery together? What are your official deductions going to be? Okay, here's the evidence you've managed to gather. First, you think to yourself, maybe it was a friend. Second, you know for a fact your next-door neighbor was at work all day. And third, you later discover a package right there on your doorstep. Let's see how you did. So step 1, that thought, maybe it was a friend, is just a guess, a possibility, right? So we say, it might have been a friend. Step 2, you know your neighbor was at work, so it was impossible for it to be them. So it couldn't have been your neighbor. And step 3, that package, well, that's our smoking gun. That's strong evidence, which leads to our logical conclusion, it must have been a delivery person. Case solved. And just like that, you now have a complete linguistic toolkit for talking about the past. You can express everything from that 99% certainty of impossibility with couldn't have to the 95% logical conclusion of must have, all the way down to a 50% shot in the dark guess with might have. You know, this is so much more than just grammar. It's about communicating with real precision and logic. So the real question is, now that you have these tools to make smart, nuanced deductions about the past, what mystery are you going to go out and solve?